I'm Win Damon on Joppa Radio, 96.3 FM in Newburyport. And our guest this morning is Kassandra Gove, the Executive Director of the Amesbury Chamber of Commerce. And Kassandra, welcome in.
Thank you. Good morning.
Nice to have you with us today. And we haven't had a chance to chat since you had the Country Music Fest.
That's right. It was just last week. It seems like yesterday.
It seems like 2 weeks ago to me. Wow, just last week?
Just last week.
Oh, that's how about that?
Yeah.
Before we get into that, unfortunate about the news that happened in Las Vegas over the weekend.
Yeah, it's awful.
That was a country fest, and lots of people were killed.
Yeah, devastating down there.
But that didn't happen. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case in Amesbury. And it was a 3-day music fest at the Amesbury Sports Park. They changed the name, didn't they? It's the New England Sports Park.
It is the New England Sports Park, yeah.
When did that happen? I lost the memo, I think.
I know, it gets confusing. There's new ownership over there with Seacoast United, but the sign still says Amesbury Sports Park. So we use them interchangeably.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you're looking for it, you look for the sign, I guess.
All right. So the headliners were... let's see. The headliners were Travis Tritt, Charlie Daniels Band, and Craig Morgan.
That's right.
And
yeah, those were the 3 big headliners.
So how did it all go? I know Friday was a little iffy, wasn't it, the weather?
Friday was. It rained a little bit on us, and it didn't clear until late. But once it did, it was a great night. And Travis put on a great show. You know, he's definitely a performer and entertainer, and people loved him. He had everybody on their feet, and everyone was, singing along and, swaying in the audience. And so Friday was really fun. It was really fun. We had a good crowd. Saturday was our biggest day. We definitely had, over 3,500 people there, close to it, I would say. Lots of people coming in later in the day, expecting Charlie Daniels. He puts on an incredible show. At his age especially, it was amazing. Everyone, I think, was blown away by it. He was lots of fun.
He's in his 70s, isn't he?
He's 81.
Oh, gee.
81. Yeah. So
and he can fiddle too, right?
He sure can. He was fun to watch. Really fun to watch. Great guy. We had the Sea Cadets from Haverhill, so high school kids, present the colors prior to his performance. And when they came off stage, he shook all of their hands and took a picture with them. He had taken the time to meet all of the officers from the Amesbury Police Department and the fire department who were on site that day. And so he was just really nice and, took time to meet everybody. And he did a meet and greet earlier too. So we had a whole handful of people who got to actually meet him from the crowd. And then he just put on a great show.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did everybody go crazy when he did Devil Went Down to Georgia?
You bet. That was his last song of the night. So I had the tip off that it was going to be the last song. So I knew that was the end, but I was waiting for it, and it was really fun to see.
Oh, that's
yeah, it
fantastic.
was good. He was great. Yeah.
Now, what about Craig Morgan?
And Craig Morgan was my favorite. I've heard a lot of people say that they really loved Craig's performance. It was Sunday night, so we didn't have as many people there. Everyone's getting ready for work on Monday, but he put on a great show. He interacted with the audience. He was really funny. He would stop in the middle of songs and talk with everybody. He actually came off the stage and went down into the crowd to sing with everyone. And, he was really fun. And I did get to meet him after. He didn't do a meet and greet, but I got to meet him, which was really great. I got my picture with him. So he was good on Sunday and puts on a great show. All the headliners were a little bit different, which I think made for a good festival. Craig didn't have as much going on stage. He's just like a real down-to-earth guy. And so it made it really interesting and kept everything different. All of the artists throughout the weekend were great. We have had a lot of good feedback about, about the artists, and that everyone in the audience loved every single artist. There was nobody that was, kind of a letdown. We had almost 30 artists there over 3 days.
Oh, wow. It had a lot of local ones, too.
Yeah, there were a handful of local artists. E.J. Olette was great to watch, and he talked about, the fiddle, and he was on Saturday, so he was before Charlie Daniels, so that was fun. And he was great. And then we had Liz Frame and the Kickers.
Oh, yeah.
She's local. I think I just saw her put up some dates, and she's going to be at the Grog this month.
Okay.
So we had her too, and then Lane Glenn's daughter. she's on the cover of the Newburyport magazine.
Okay.
This month, and she was fantastic. She's young. She's got a lot of energy, and she was fun to see. And then see her on the cover of Newburyport magazine this month. It was great too. So I think she enjoyed her time there. I got to talk to Lane just a few days later, and he said that she really enjoyed it and got to experience some real equipment. He made kind of joked about what a difference it can make. That was a really high-end sound production company and the stage and everything. So, they were all really, really good with the artists.
So the people that put up the stage and did the sound, this is what they do for a living.
Yeah, they used Klondike Sound was the sound company, and I guess they're the best in the business. They did the old music festival from the 70s. They did Woodstock.
Oh no.
Yeah, they did Woodstock.
You call that old?
For me. So they did Woodstock, and I guess they're really well known in the business. So they used Klondike Sound, and they were they were great. The artists loved them, and we heard really we've heard a lot about the sound being really clear and just really enjoyable. We've also heard that sound traveled quite far. So
I bet it would.
Yeah. So we the stage at the sports park is typically on the other end of the field, so the sound travels more towards Newburyport and over the river, but we did it in the reverse. So we've heard from people in Southampton that could hear the music.
Oh, I hope they liked it.
So we do recognize that it was a little loud, and we may change the schedule for Sunday next year. We know that everyone's got kids at home and they're getting ready for work on Monday, but we did hear that the sound was great, was clear, and was very loud.
It carried a long way.
Yeah, it carried a long ways. Yeah.
How about that? Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad it all went well. And where did they stay over at the new inn in Amesbury?
They did, yeah. A lot of the artists were right at the Hampton Inn. I think the Fairfield Inn was full as well. But really cool that the artists were right there at the Hampton Inn. I know that people saw a lot of the tractor trailers parked outside, when they were here for their overnights, and it was kind of the clue that they were in town. And then we also had people staying at the Tuxbury Pond campground, and we ran shuttles from there too. So we put people everywhere we could, in the area, and we also had people in from out of town as vendors and food trucks and things like that. We had brought a lot of people in to the area for the weekend. So it was great for the area.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out for you.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do this weekend?
Well, last weekend I went to the Chili Fest with the Amesbury Fire Department, and there was people there from Salisbury and Newburyport, and we had fire departments, police departments, so that was fun.
Do you know who won?
The Amesbury Police Department won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And who got the People's Choice Award?
I think they got that too.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I shouldn't say who I voted for, but theirs was really spicy. So they didn't get my vote. But the chili was good. It was a cold, raw, fall day, so it's perfect for some chili and a cold beer. Yeah. So last weekend I was at the Chili Fest, and now we're working towards the what's next, downtown trick or treat.
Oh, that's right.
So we have a couple weeks off until that hits, but everyone's talking about it, and we're getting our map together for everybody, and we'll get the announcement out through the schools, so you can print your own map or download it, or save it to your phone so you can walk around with the kids. But we usually have 20 to 30 businesses ready to hand out candy, and we'll close part of the street on Main Street so that it's safe for the kids. They don't fit on the sidewalks anymore. We have too many people come down for this. So.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, it's a fun night. So that's going to be on the 24th.
Okay. And I know that, now I lost my train. Oh, I know that you have the Arts Council. That's going to be happening in November.
That's right. That's probably the second weekend in November.
Yeah,
is
that.
The Open Studio Tour. So I know they're hard at work at that with the Cultural Council, and they've changed it up a little bit. I think that they are going to add more to Market Square. So when you drive through town, you'll know that something is going on. And if you haven't been into Amesbury or down to Market Square lately, come down. It's we've decorated. We have a little vignette of hay bales and mums, and people are stopping to take their pictures, and it it looks great. And we've got some new businesses down there that are doing really well. I walked through town on Friday, and the new Board and Brush studio had all the lights on, and she's got big windows so you could see in. There was tons of people in there, so yeah, come downtown and check it out. But on that second weekend in November, there'll be even more going on.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Anything else for the Amesbury Chamber? You have some breakfast meetings coming up, or?
We just had a business and breakfast. We'll have a mixer on, see if I can get the date right. It's a Monday. I think it's the 15th or 16th. So we'll have a mixer at the Heights in Amesbury. So the new apartments, and those are open to the public if you want to come check it out and meet some of the other business owners in town. So we'll have that mixer from 5:30 to 7:30. Then we have the trick or treat, and then we're planning our annual dinner, which is in November for us. So a change of seasons. Things will start to slow down for us as we approach the holidays, and we'll get started on our Thursday nights where you can shop late for your holiday shopping locally. And we've crossed off the big event for the year, so we're gonna take a little bit of a breath.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kassandra, I want to thank you for stopping in, and thanks for the update on the Country Fest.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That was fantastic. And I wondered about the sound, thinking it might bounce off the hill and push itself north.
Yep.
And it did.
Yes, it did. Yeah, we actually faced the other way, so it was loud and clear for lots of people.
Yeah, but if you put it the other way, then it would go up over the hill and come down somewhere else.
Right.
So
yep. So,
can't really win.
But we've got lots of good feedback. Everyone really enjoyed it. So
that's terrific.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, Kassandra, thank you so much, and we'll get you back again soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Kassandra Gove, the Executive Director of the Amesbury Chamber of Commerce, our guest here on Joppa Radio, 96.3 FM. Joppa Radio, WJOP LP, Newburyport, 96.3 FM. And we have a legend with us, State Representative Jim Kelcourse. Jim, welcome in.
Thank you, Wen, but I'm not quite the legend that you are. So thank you very much for the nice compliment, though.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have you here. And
it's a pleasure to be here.
It's you've been a busy guy these days. Besides doing the people's business in Boston and taking care of things all around town, you've got lots of stuff going on too. Like you're around a lot of hockey rinks these days, I understand.
Hockey rinks, chili fests, birthday parties, you name it, we're there.
Yeah. How was the Chili Fest?
Oh, it was terrific. It was really, really good. Everybody did a wonderful job. I do have to say, though, Newburyport Police Department put steak tips in their chili, and it was out of this world.
Oh. We just had Kassandra Gove on, and which one did she thought? She thought one was really spicy.
I think that would have been Amesbury Fire, maybe.
Okay.
It could have been another one. They were all really good. They did a dynamite job.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And that's what you do, because even though you might be tasting chili, you're out there getting feedback on things that are happening around.
And I say that to folks all the time. It's, that's how you find out about what is going on in the community, by being present.
Yeah. I don't know if you are a reader of business books, but years ago, Tom Peters, back when he was the guy, he called it management by wandering around.
Well, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good business books, some of which I read when I was in undergraduate business studies and in business school and graduate studies. But, you really just got to go out there and you got to be among people. I look at this just like a business. It's you have to take care of your customers. Otherwise, you're not going to be in business. And the same it's true, I think, for community service and public service. You have to be out there among your constituency.
All right. And see what's working, what's not working, what people are thinking about. And it's just so critical.
Exactly.
So at the State House side of things, I know you're on a bunch of committees. What's going on?
Well, still on the same three committees: Education, Economic Development, and Environment. But right now we're just dealing with the budget. Budget overrides. Last couple of sessions that we've had, we've been taking up the governor's vetoes. We're going to wait to see, hopefully rather, now that it's October 2nd, September numbers come in pretty good. Historically, I understand September's been the fourth highest month for revenue collections as far as taxes go in the Commonwealth. So hopefully those numbers look good and strong so we can continue to provide the good services that we do for the citizens of Massachusetts.
So is the revenue that comes in that gets reported for September, is that based on September sales or July or August sales?
Tax collections,
Okay.
people file extensions, excise tax too at the state level, but tax revenue that comes in from sales, number of different sources. So that's all looked at, goes into the general fund, and it gives us a better picture of where we're gonna be for the remainder of the fiscal year.
All right.
You got a lot of money to collect to support a $40 billion budget here in the state.
$40 billion.
Roughly $40 billion.
Wow. Now, is that up or down from previous years?
It always goes up. When I first started out, it was $38 billion. I think the first time I ran for office back in 2012 at the state level, the budget was $32 billion. So it's gone up $8 billion in the last 5 years. 40% of the budget is mass health, and 55% is health and human services that we provide to the citizens here in the Commonwealth. So more than half of the budget goes to, mass health, and human services.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah. Well, now I saw something in the Daily News. It could have been today. They were talking about the Blackwater project in Salisbury. And I guess that Neil Harrington's come up with some numbers or something like that. They've looked at that based on after a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's working out really well. But apparently Neil said they went through like 3 project managers on the Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, took a long time.
Yeah, Army Corps is at the federal level, as we all know, and the state level we deal with DEP, for instance. They'll lend their technical expertise and knowledge with respect to a project such as that's occurring out in a resource area, which is the Great Marsh. So we're really lucky to have places like the Great Marsh here in the First Essex District, protecting all sorts of species such as young fish and crabs and so forth, all sorts of infant larvae that grow to be bigger and that we enjoy on our dinner table and at some of the lovely restaurants around here later on in the form of shellfish. But so it's a critical resource area, an area in which the federal government has to take a close look at before we do a project, and then we have the Department of Environmental Protection, of course, that lends its expertise and so forth. But that was a big federal contribution, and it's good to see that take place. And it was something that we were glad to see that at the end of halfway rather through our first term, right at the 11th hour. Salisbury needed $300,000, and we were able to come through on the state level for the $300,000 about, a day before or less than 24 hours before, the bids expired on that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, this past Friday, I know that they had a meeting over at Pitt Hall about concerns about the rising tides, 71st, 76th Streets. I guess sometimes the tides might come in within 50 feet or so at the end of those streets, but that was that was an alliance that Senator Bruce Tarr chairs.
He does a great job with that. I was there for about 2 hours. I had another meeting to go to. I think the meeting lasted about 3 hours. There was a lot of discussion about reservation terrace, dredging in the Merrimack River. Another area where we as elected state officials have to reach out and work with our congressional delegation. So we're looking to do that. That there's going to be another big federal piece, involved in getting the river dredged and depositing sand back onto the beach to help, protect the residents who live along Reservation Terrace and other parts of Plum Island where they're seeing some erosion of the sand. Hopefully we can get that done, and we can, get our federal delegation to, assist us with that sooner rather than later, because I know there's a lot of concerned citizens out there.
Oh, yeah, I know, especially as we get into the weather. Sometimes those bad storms come up, and they scare people.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
rightly so.
Yeah.
I was looking out the window of one of the places, and that ocean looks awful close.
It certainly does. I guess I think they've started the hydrant replacement project, haven't they?
I understand they have. The city's been doing a good job with that. There was a settlement, with respect to the sewer, and then the hydrant. They're working on that replacement. They're doing a good job. You've got we have a great DPS, Department of Public Services here in Newburyport.
And one of the things I noticed over the weekend was that they started to grind down Main Street in Amesbury, but it was the section I think belongs to the state, right underneath the I-95 bridge. Is that right?
Yeah, isn't that terrific? So we're doing a lot of good road work over there. That's important Chapter 90 money. So Mass General Laws Chapter 90 is the way by which the state redirects money back to the communities, the localities, to repair roadways. The one that you pointed out is in the municipality of Amesbury, because there's some necessary infrastructure upgrades, for instance, that need to take place in that part of town. We did the water, the sewer. Some of those lines haven't been updated in decades, multiple decades. They go back quite a way. So, I think when I was on the city council, Rob Desmaris, the DPW, Department of Public Works director over there, had indicated to me that, Jim, if there's a couple of sinks going at one time on Merrill Street in Amesbury along the river, just before the Hines Bridge on the left there, you'll get a trickle, if you're lucky, of water if you were to turn on your sink. So if there's a couple of showers going and some sinks and maybe a dishwasher, the water pressure was that low. So it all had to be upgraded.
Oh.
And you get the support of the local developers that come in too and do some new developments. That helps out considerably as well.
That's right. Yeah. No, I know there's been a lot of work on that, and they really only want to pave the street once, don't they?
They do, because you don't want to put down a nice new fresh road and then have to rip it up later on. But sometimes there's not that much money available to do the extensive infrastructure work that you want to do. So what they'll do is they'll put down a surface on top, because, you can't also have residents driving over potholes and, all these, areas of road that are in just such disrepair. That you leave it in disrepair to wait till you have the money to do the infrastructure work. Sometimes you just got to put down a coat over the top, and then unfortunately have to rip it up a few years later when those funds do come available.
Yeah, lots of stuff for the state representative to do.
Oh, there's always lots of stuff, but it's fun. You know what? I'm truly blessed to be able to do this job. It's a great job. I work with wonderful people like yourself, that we're so fortunate to have here in the community. And so many other terrific people. You've got Ann Ormond over at the Newburyport Chamber of Commerce. You just talked about Kassandra Gove and, the Salisbury Chamber and Don Abdallah and what that wonderful family does for this district. We're just really grateful to have all the businesses that we have here. Good government working together, providing good schools, so that our kids can get educated and come back and love and enjoy and live in this area as much as I do and the rest of us do.
It's a fantastic area. It really is.
Oh, we're just so fortunate.
And you're talking about working on the budget. Is there any particular areas that you're trying to get some money earmarked for?
My focus is Newburyport, Salisbury, and Amesbury. I've got my veterans one every year that I put in. I've put in for the past 3 years, and I've been fortunate that it has survived, vetoes, and that's the veterans benefit for our neighbors table. So we get $30,000 every year in the form of an earmark. And earmark's an amendment. An amendment's not necessarily an earmark, but it's the amendment contains many of these earmarks in the state budget. You have the governor's budget, H1 or H2 in a second term, for instance, or a second year that comes out, and then it goes through House Ways and Means Committee, and they come out with their recommendations, and then we come up as individual reps with our recommendations, and we put them in the form of amendments and or earmarks into the budget. So every year I put in for that $30,000 and we get it. We put in for, money for just any type of work that you can imagine. Computer carts in Amesbury, for instance, $20,000. Things of that nature that are just, you wish you could have $10 million that you could bring a check back to your community for sometimes. And that does happen. Parking garage, for instance, we were able to bring back. We were able to work with the current administration, Charlie Baker and Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, and release that funding from the bond bill that was put in there by my predecessor, Mike Costello, with the assistance of State Senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives. But we were able to get that money released. That's the second step of the process, to get it released to the community to help with a project such as that, for instance. So we're very proud to be able to get any bit of money that we can. We've just recently for LED lighting, we got several $1,000s for Amesbury and also for Newburyport. So those are all a big help. Every penny counts.
Oh, it certainly does. You mentioned Our Neighbor's Table. They just had, and we were talking about food, but they just had that food truck festival. That
I know, down at Cashman Park.
Yeah, apparently it raised like $20,000 for them.
That is fantastic. Our Neighbor's Table, Pettingill House, Jeannie Geiger Crisis Center.
At the Big Walk yesterday.
Pelican Fund. Yeah, we've got these great organizations in the area that do so much for the people of this community. We're just lucky to have them, and there's just so many more.
Oh, certainly are. And you're always available too. You have your district office on Green Street.
23 Green Street. So we keep that district office. Sometimes it's not convenient for folks to come into Boston. Boston can be a pain in the neck to get into and then find parking. And we do everything we can to accommodate our good constituents. If they don't take in the train or the bus, we'll sometimes be able to, most of the time, provide parking for them. Sometimes we can't, but we get a pretty good batting average in regards to that. But we have that district office. It's convenient for people to come to. We encourage people to come there. We maintain a district office phone too, and not everybody does that. Not all the reps do. I would say there's a lot of reps and senators that, hold office hours at a coffee shop or a library. But, look, the way I view this office is it's like a doctor's office. You come in with some sensitive stuff that you need the privacy. And, sometimes, and we're blessed to have these libraries and wonderful coffee shops to meet people at, but, sometimes you just need a quiet place to talk. And that's what we're able to provide right here in Newburyport at 23 Green Street. So encourage people to come by. We've got a local telephone number too, 465-1777, 978-465-1777. Come by anytime or call us, and we'd be happy to meet with you.
All right. Well, that works out really well. Hey, Jim, I want to thank you, and we'll get you back. Anything you wanted to touch upon before you leave?
No, just, as always, thank you for the wonderful opportunity and privilege to serve everybody here in Newburyport, Salisbury, and Amesbury. It is, I'll tell you, it's really a privilege. It's an honor to serve you, and we're grateful to do it and thankful every day that we have this wonderful job that you have enabled us to do. So thank you to all the constituents in Newburyport, Salisbury, and Amesbury. We love serving you and look forward to going to the State House and working hard on your behalf every day.
All right. Well, Jim, thank you again, and we'll get you back before you know it.
Thank you, Win.
All right. That's Jim Kelcourse, State Representatives, representing Amesbury, Newburyport, and Salisbury, our guest here on Joppa Radio, WJOP LP Newburyport, 96.3 FM.